Control. Bravo team.
What's up, everybody?
Capture and
So this is the only footage I took for the player versus player in Destiny Alpha on PlayStation 4. And I kind of want to just go through a little brief what I saw and how I feel about it and that kind of stuff. So there's definitely going to be some noob gameplay here because I only played the game for a few days, if not a few hours. Like I said, I only went into the player versus player part of it for one match. So let's get into that. It looks like Destiny is only going to have a battleground type player versus player. I haven't read really anything about this game, so I'm not sure. Maybe they will have the availability for open world player versus player, but we'll see. Who knows? But basically, I mean, the map looks just as beautiful as the open world part of the map or part of the game. The art and the visuals are beautiful. Excellent work there. So yeah, I'm kind of not feeling it. I'm not a big fan of Battlegrounds. Any of the MMOs that I've ever played, it was just not my cup of tea. I was more into the open world, guild versus guild type of activities, not this little arena-based kind of like. I guess for the console people, this is going to be more like a COD type of atmosphere, where you just jump in the lobby and you start killing other people. Which is, I guess, for console people, that's pretty much where we're at anyway with consoles. I guess you could look at any of the games like COD or Battlefield or those kinds of shooters as being a battleground type of game where you jump into a lobby. You're only on a confined little map. But I think the deal with Destiny is that it's being touted as an MMO type of game. So I think this is going to be more along the lines of like a World of Warcraft type of MMO rather than another type where you're going to have, you know, the open free-for-all type of player versus player. So that's just my take on that. But let's get into a little bit of what you see in the video. There's some vehicles on here, and I'm guessing since this is alpha and you only cap out at 8, that a lot of people didn't have heavy weapons, which they are available. You don't pick them up till later. I'm only level 4 on this video. I did manage to max out this character at level 8, and then you do get a heavy weapon by that point. So on the video anyway, the vehicles are definitely overpowered versus infantry, but I mean that's fine because they are technically tanks. So once other infantry get those heavy weapons, they'll be able to counteract the vehicles a little bit more. Some of the other things in here, and I'm kind of going to go off again about you know, the difference between the MMOs that I like versus the World of Warcraft style. Destiny seems to be one of those games where your gear and your character is what wins the fight, not your skill at hitting the opponent with your gun. Case in point, the entire opposing team on this video is roughly all capped out. They're all level 8. The team that I'm on is probably my level, if not less. I think I did see a level 3 in here. So the problem with that is, unless Bungie put in some kind of balancing built into the mechanics when you go into these arenas, is that these level 8s are gonna, or anybody of a higher level, I'm sure they'll break it down into level ranges like they did in World of Warcraft.
Zone A.
But I'm pretty sure that if there isn't that balancing effect, that these guys are running around with max everything, which really puts you at a disadvantage as the new player going into something like this. So what that means is, like, the gun that I'm using in this video probably does half the damage that theirs does. So they're going to be able to kill me quicker in a given situation. And the other thing, and even if there is a balancing feature, like that guy right there that just killed me jumped way up over something, I noticed once I got to level 8 that even though my level is capped, my sub abilities still continue to go. And your sub abilities in this game range everything from that your double jump ability to your movement speed and all kinds of things like that. And then on top of that, your class's special ability. So those are just going to increase and increase until they're capped out. And what's going to happen is generally, from my experience with games that have battlegrounds, like I played Star Wars: The Old Republic when it was in beta, and that was one thing that I loathed about the battlegrounds on there, is that there was no balancing mechanism built in for the extra special abilities that a higher level person would have versus the lower level person. Because in that game, in their battlegrounds, they did have a balancing where the damage was balanced for the levels. So a max level person could go into the same battleground as a level 1 person, but they would do the same damage to each other. The problem with that is that the basically that level capped person has all the tools available to them for being max level. That level 1 person has no tools. So the ability of that level 1 to, you know, do anything outside just doing damage to an opponent is completely limited. And that's something that I'm kind of curious about with this game, if that's how they're going with the player versus player part. It just to me, that's just not the way it should be, especially in a shooter. I mean, a shooter, you know, as most of us that play COD or Battlefield or any of those types of games, they're competitive. It's all about who can shoot who fastest and kill the other person quicker. And that's just basically your ability with your controller, your mouse and keyboard to outdo your opponent with your own skills, not with the gear that you're running around with. So that's just where I'm coming from with the way I saw Destiny happening on here, as far as their player versus player. So I guess some of the other things, I'm sure that they're going to have different game modes on here. This is basically like a conquest style where you just cap points, and the more places that you have capped, or your team has capped, the quicker the enemy team loses their points, or builds points. Maybe this was a where you gain points. I didn't really pay that much attention when I was doing it. So I would imagine that they'll have other game mode types. And like I said, I only played this one battleground, so I don't know. Maybe they did have other maps available in the alpha too, but I would definitely think that they would have other type maps that will be geared towards different game modes, vehicles, infantry, what have you. Who knows? I mean, maybe they will have an open PvP server types or something like that. That would be great. I would maybe think about buying the game at that point. But yeah, so basically this is what your player versus player experience will probably be like for Destiny. Yeah, it's basically going to be battlegrounds. So, I don't know. I mean, it's fun. It plays out nice. The gunplay is great. I didn't encounter a lot of situations where I was running around walls and getting shot in the back after I ran around the wall. Um, the it's great to have those special abilities where that one warlock came into this room right here and hit me
Zone
with it
C
with their
lost.
special ability
You
and wipe me out.
neutralized Zone A.
That vortex bomb, from what I've heard from other articles or other
Enemy
YouTube
captured Zone
videos
C.
I've watched about it, it's good for clearing rooms of enemies because it basically damages everything in that area, if not kills it outright. Um, if you watch any of my the single player
Enemy
footage that I
captured
had on here,
Zone A.
I
You've lost them
basically
all.
wait for
They've
the
got
horde to
total
come out and
control.
I just drop that on them and they're all dead. So I don't know. I mean, maybe people will start crying about that kind of stuff, and they'll have to balance that too. But I just think, it's whatever class you're gonna play. Just play it.
Only 1 minute left.
I mean, they're trying to make this into a bit more of an RPG type game, so um, I don't know. Good luck
Zone
with
B
that. So
neutralized.
as far as making the balance work, because you put those kinds of special abilities on something and you don't they don't have if there's not really a downside, because I mean everybody's running around with a gun as their primary
Zone
weapon,
B secure.
and then
30 seconds
maybe
remaining.
I guess the way that they could balance it would be like increasing the timer for it to recharge or something like that, depending on the class that you are. um, I didn't really play with the other two classes, so couldn't tell you if their special abilities recharge at a different speed.
You've got 10
I guess that would
seconds.
be a way of
You
making it fair, but
neutralized
still, I
Zone
mean,
C. Zone
the
B
potential for a
lost.
warlock to run in and kill off most of the enemy team in one hit
Enemy captured Zone
is
B.
pretty
I know
OP.
that's not the best you've
So,
got. Do
those
it
are my
again.
thoughts. This is going to be the end of the video here. It's going to show you all the little after battle reports, the leaderboard. Kind of nice. I mean, it goes through a bunch of stuff. Obviously, you're gonna level up. That's what that was. You gain XP. Those are the upgrades I was talking about. And then here's the leaderboard. You do gain rewards, so you can collect loot as you're going through, which is definitely a cool thing. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed.